Look at some sports news now. Here's Barong Tony Uranta.
Thank you, Ijoma, and welcome to Sports News. President of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation, Daniel Gali, has tagged North African teams as major threats at the upcoming African Championship. Nigeria will feature 90 athletes at the event, and Gali is optimistic with the right home support, the wrestlers will produce good results. Nigeria's home-based Super Eagles have qualified for the quarterfinals of the African Nations Championship after beating Equatorial Guinea 3-1 in Agadir. Coach Alisu Yusuf's boys clawed their way back into the game after going behind in the first half. However, goals from Anthony Okpotu, Dario Ojo, and old warhorse Rabiu Aliu gave Nigeria the victory. With this victory, Nigeria tops Group C with 7 points, followed by Libya, who have 6 points after beating Rwanda by a lone goal. In the quarterfinals, the home Eagles will face in the runners-up in Group D. Tennis now, and world number one Rafael Nadal retired hurt in the 5th set of the enthralling quarterfinal against Marin Cilic in the Australian Open. The top seed was visibly in pain on court, and Cilic now faced British number 2 Kyle Edmund in the semi-finals following his 3-6, 6-3, 6-7, 6-2 2-love victory. It was only the second time in 264 Grand Slam matches that Nadal has retired.
It's not the first time, here, and an opportunity that it's gone for me. So that's. I am a positive person, and I can be positive, but today is an opportunity lost to be in the semi-finals of Grand Slam and fight for an important title for me, and. In this tournament already happened a couple of times in my life, so it's really, I don't want to say frustration, but it's really tough to accept.
And for the women, Caroline Wozniacki has defeated Carla Suarez Navarro 6-love, 6-7, 6-2 to reach the semi-finals. Wozniacki dominated from the off in the first set to take it by a bagel. In the second set, Navarro fought back, holding off her opponent to take the second set on a tie-break, but Wozniacki recovered her nerves to close out the third set with ease. The Danish second seed will face Belgian Elise Martens in the last four. And that's it on Sports for tonight. I'm Barong Tony Uranta. John Matt will be back with the rest.
Thanks, Barong. The Gambian army says it's arrested and is questioning 2 former generals who fled the country a year ago with the ousted president Yahya Jammeh. In a statement, the army says Umpa Mendy and Asumana Tamba were detained at their homes after unexpectedly flying home and are now being held in an army barracks. It's unclear why the men returned to the Gambia or what they're being accused of. A year after taking office, President Adama Barrow is still working to consolidate control over Gambian institutions, including the military. And the United Nations is raising concern over an estimated 5,000 displaced people in Syria's northwest region following clashes between Kurdish-led forces and Kurdish fighters. The civilians have been fleeing communities near the border since Turkey launched an offensive to drive a Kurdish militia out of the Afrin region over the weekend. The UN says it's willing to deliver aid to as many as 50,000 people in Afrin if required. Meanwhile, world powers involved in the Syrian conflict are calling on the Turkish military to exercise restraint to avoid an exacerbation of the country's humanitarian crisis. And U.S. President Donald Trump says the end of the government shutdown is a big win for the Republicans. The Democratic leadership agreed to back the bill after accepting promises from Republicans for a debate on the future of young illegal migrants. President Trump also said the Democrats caved as he signed a bill to end the 3-day shutdown.
After 3 days of the U.S. government shutdown, Senate Democrats signed a bill to restore funds to keep the government running for 3 more weeks in exchange for a promise by Republicans to hold a debate on the status of young immigrants.
We have not yet protected our courageous young dreamers. Not only should we protect them, we should embrace them, value them. We should be grateful for the inspiration they are to America.
Young dreamers brought to the United States illegally as children, however, were angry and disappointed as they are left without a deal to shore up their shaky legal status.
They have shown us that they do not care about us. All the things that, the advertisements that have been going on show how much that they hate us. But I don't understand why they hate us. We're here working hard, paying our taxes, trying to get a better education, trying to make our community better, yet they don't care.
The White House press secretary, Sarah Sanders, says the president will make a deal on immigration only if he sees it as beneficial for the country.
As I've always said, once the government is funded, my administration will work towards solving the problem of very unfair illegal immigration. We will make a long-term deal on immigration if and only if it's good for our country.
Last year, President Donald Trump ordered an end to protections provided to the estimated 700,000 Dreamers under the 2012 DACA program, an executive order put in place by former Democratic President Barack Obama.
And the main news again. Nigeria's former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo today tackled President Muhammadu Buhari on the state of the nation in an 18-page article. Chief Obasanjo asked President Buhari to take the path of honor and not seek re-election in 2019, citing loss of direction by his administration. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Honyato. Do have a good night.